Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Wrestling Challenge Review Series 4, the 11th February 1990. This is a very, I wouldn't say valuable episode, but at the same time, there's a lot of review stuff that is valuable in the episode itself. This is the announcement weekend of WrestleMania 6's main event, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. And the review of the babyface turn, one of the better babyface turns of the era, maybe of all time, the Big Boss Man turning on the Million Dollar Man and Slick over the issues with Jake Roberts. That happened on Superstars, but is reviewed here. Brutus Beefcake and Pete Sanchez. Beefcake goes into WrestleMania 6 in a couple of months here, or about a month and a half, facing off against Mr. Perfect. They're hyping it in the pre-show promos. Beefcake, doing the fishnets, the whole thing. He's pretty He's pretty intense, pretty involved. Hard shots by Sanchez. Sanchez gets an Irish whip across the ring and to the other side. Big back body drop by Beefcake. Beefcake then managing to kind of do the ear ringing thing on Sanchez. After the Warrior. Jack Tunney is used to announce the actual match itself, the Ultimate Challenge, Hogan and the Warrior, WrestleMania 6 in Toronto at the Skydome. Probably, I would say, for the era, other than maybe Andre and Hogan, which was 3 years before the start of that, this is probably the biggest match to convert people to be fans in that era. I can't think of maybe other than, well, Bret Hart and the Bulldog in '92. I'm just trying to think. I mean, during this era, during this 2 to 3 year period, I think Hogan and Savage would have converted people in '89. Warrior and Hogan in '90. Again, Brett and Bulldog in '92 maybe, and then we move up to maybe '95. But I mean, talk about an impactful, iconic match. It's certainly a big thing. Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine up next. I don't know that they're running under the Rhythm and Blues name yet. I think they are, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Valentine slows the match down, does very basic stuff. Forearms and the like. Valentine known for that. Not a big surprise there. Honky Tonk Man comes in. They do some double team work. Nothing worth writing home about. Eventually, the body slam by Valentine, followed by the attempted suplex by the Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man, probably certainly, including the swinging neckbreaker, the more advantageous of the two. Picking up the guitar, Honky strumming the guitar, and the rhythm and blues team, whether with name or not, victorious here. We move to a event center hyping a show that coming Thursday in Nashville, Tennessee. Brutus Beefcake and Rick Martel. If this is anything like the matches I saw between the two at the time, it is a slow plotting affair. I think the one match that I saw between those two went to a 15-minute time limit draw and was old after about 5 minutes of the 15. Martel complains about the designer clothes that he wears being cut up by Beefcake, and he's not happy with that, as one who would be. Tugboat Thomas, which actually is the before he just switches to Tugboat. Tugboat Thomas is the guy here. He basically calls himself unintelligent in this particular promo, which I'm not quite sure is the way a babyface wants to go, although maybe targeted to kids. Kids are feeling awkward about themselves. Coco Ware, who's been around by this point for about going on year four, with Frankie the Parrot, facing off against an enhancement talent. Coco has dyed his hair an interesting shade of yellow painted to the side of his head, an interesting shade of blue, and away we go in that general direction. Um, you know, ultimately, really basic match here. Koko, though, I think is an underrated guy when you look at the fact that he had a run of nearly, 7, 8 years at the time. Babyface, all but maybe the last month or two of his run. Um, and he's just a really, I mean, I think they were trying to turn him in '94, if I remember right, but um, really an impactful guy. And amazing there. Backdrop by Koko. Koko always moving around. He ends up going with Rick Martel at WrestleMania 6 in what I consider to be an underrated opening match. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about, but at the same time, it did fired the crowd up and got Martel over. So double win there. Koko goes to the top rope, hits the drop kick, and then comes in, hits the gourd buster for the win. Big move there. The tease of Piper and Bad News Brown is done here. Kind of a big deal at that point. Piper comes out because basically Piper eliminated Bad News at the Royal Rumble. Piper wants to get it Bad News. Bad News wants to get it Piper. Bad News basically says Piper wears a skirt. Piper is offended by this and takes referees to hold him back. Good angle. I'm not sure that a non-finish is the way to go in the WrestleMania 6 match, although neither one of them probably would have done business for the other, so that's there. The Rockers are out next, although Rockers and Hart Foundation, actually a rare singles match, maybe this was Sweeps Week or something, rare singles match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. So they're not only, feuding in 96, 97, but they have a match all the way back here in 1990 when they were part of their respective tag teams. Jannetty and Neidhart on the outside supporting their teammates. Basic, although good match even for the time. Hart showing more technical acumen, although Michael staying right with him even here in 1990. Hart obviously behind in the speed, but makes up for in technical accuracy. Good babyface match. I don't quite know where it's going. Maybe it was the fact that they wanted to switch the tag titles here or something like that. Maybe that was the deal, or they were going in that direction. I don't really know where that was all supposed to have ended up going, but I do know it landed unfinished, to say the very least. In any event, it was it was a nice enough situation. Um, it's a, I guess you'd say, a decent run there. Um, it's interesting, and they go back and forth um, in a meaningful way. They go back and forth in a way that works for them. The match itself, which kind of breaks down into being, I don't want to say super basic, but Hart sends Michaels up in the lights with a backdrop, among other things. Hits a few uppercuts as to be expected. Hart again, more technical, more focused, more real in that way, um, and and kind of a hard shot into a backslide by Michaels. Michaels is able to hang with Bret. Bret stays on him. He's a little more, I don't know if I want to say aggressive, assertive, whatever that looks like, but it's there for sure. Michaels goes all the way around, hits a body slam in the process there, and hits the I guess you'd say leaping leg drop. Overall, pretty good run that way, and duck down. They do the heads together double bonk spot. Um, you know, and then there's a cinch up for an attempt at um, approach to the they kind of end up shoving off. Hart actually throws the first actual punch of the match. Jannetty gets up on the apron. The match breaks down into basically what amounts to a double disqualification, with both partners getting involved. Nothing gets finished, but I don't know that it was supposed to. I think it was just kind of showing tension. Maybe there was a plan for one of them to go heel. I don't really know what that plan looks like, but I know it's there, and it was interesting to watch nonetheless. Earthquake in an enhancement match next. Earthquake goes into WrestleMania 6 facing Hercules. The enhancement match that he has here runs about 2 minutes. Nothing, huge. And I mean, he wants to go right after Jim Evans, which is the opponent of the day. Earthquake manages, forearms, punches, kicks, and then hits a power slam and the Earthquake splash. Boom, boom, boom. Earthquake being built up for Hulk Hogan for SummerSlam 90. That build, believe it or not, seems like it's happening now indirectly. Hacksaw Duggan is going to face Mr. Perfect in the Tennessee Nashville show we talked about earlier. That's hyped here. Duggan basically says he's tired of hearing Perfect brag about him being everything to everyone, yada yada, and that goes on. Macho King Randy Savage and Dusty Rhodes are our opponents here that are going to keep going at it, and ultimately, um, Savage talks about him being a common man and not worth respecting. They do the review of the Boss Man and DiBiase thing, where DiBiase has paid the Boss Man through Slick to retrieve the $1 million belt that Jake Roberts had taken. DiBiase basically had lied in order to make that happen. Boss Man basically tells DiBiase to go get it himself. He's not going to help him steal, and that turns the Boss Man face. Boss Man says that Slick and DiBiase had lied to him. He's had enough of the lies, and that's that. Haku and Andre the Giant, who are in this moment your tag team champions until WrestleMania 6. They win the belts in December of '89. Hold on to them until Mania. Haku does the majority of work. Andre the Giant can barely move. Haku, obviously, even in this enhancement match, really can't do very much. Can Andre. And so that's where that goes. Bobby Heenan, of course, with both of them. Haku, punch, kick, stomp, basic stuff. The tag team championships can't even fit around Andre at this point. Andre, though, comes in and just hits a falling elbow. Wouldn't even call it a diving elbow on his adversary. Dusty Rhodes says he's going to bring down the Macho Man in that main event scenario in Nashville. And that will close us for today. Hopefully this has been helpful. I encourage you to continue with us. We're going to have more of these and more of current wrestling stuff, over 1,100 audios for you to check out. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.